Hey tribe, welcome back. In this video, we're going to have some fun, but we're going to go over the law of correspondence. And 100%, maybe you don't know the law of correspondence, but you know its meaning. I mean, we've talked about it so many times on this channel, but I just don't call it the law of correspondence. But I kind of ran into it and I thought, you know what, let's kind of cover it because I like to go into universal laws and stuff like that. And I got my good old Thai tea here. Thai tea plus Thailand. I guess when you're in Thailand, you have to have Thai tea. So I got my Thai tea going on. And how this video is really going to break down is we're briefly going to go over what the law of correspondence is. We're going to go into an esoteric view, more of a spiritual Bible view of the law of correspondence. Then we're going to wrap into manifesting. Then we're going to wrap this video up. So make sure you watch this video from beginning to end, because the more you understand how manifesting works, the better it gets for you. It's really, just in my opinion, it's really understanding the deep meanings to this that kind of really helps you out. But other than that, let's kind of get rocking and rolling and go into this. Let me take a sip of my Thai tea. So what is the law of correspondence? And we'll jump over to the computer right now. The law of correspondence really explained simply means that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. We've all heard this in manifesting. Like, you manifest from within out. This is the law of correspondence. Is what you're thinking about within, your secret thoughts, your secret beliefs, is just a mirror effect into your outside world, what you see in your 3D world right now. That's the law of correspondence. So what's happening? Basically, the law of correspondence is what's happening in your environment, circumstances, or relationships is a mirror of what's happening in your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions. So in short, as within, so without, as above, so below. Now, this phrase comes from the Hermetic Principle of Correspondence. It's one of the 7 universal laws from the Kabbalah, which if I can pronounce that right, I'll show it right up on the screen because I know I'm butchering it. And it teaches that the same patterns operate at every level of existence, from the smallest atom to the cosmos, from your mind to reality. And this is really why I like to kind of really dig deep a little bit. It's just kind of how my mind works. I know some of you out there are crazy like me, where you want to know where the connection is. But the further you kind of go down the rabbit hole with this stuff, is you start noticing that everything is connected. You know, like how we're taught, especially how we're taught in school. And this goes for every single industry, even the health industry. We're taught, we compartmentalize everything. Okay, we separate everything. We're not taught that things are connected and interconnected to each other. We're not taught about consciousness, that everybody from a conscious level is interconnected. Okay, and same way in health. All of our body systems is interweaved and interconnected with each other. They're not held separate. You understand? I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with this, but I just wanted to kind of bring that up. Now, the law of correspondence, this isn't just metaphysical, it's deeply biblical. Okay, you have to understand this. Like with spiritual, biblical texts, it all teach this. It all teach manifesting, no matter what you want to call it, being your most successful version of you. It's in the Bible. It's in every spiritual text, not just the Bible. Okay. Listen, the Bible expresses the law of correspondence over and over again, but of course in spiritual language. For example, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. All this means is that your inner state determines your outer experience. Again, in Matthew chapter 12, verse 35, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart brings forth good things. Now, what this means, more of an esoteric view, is what's stored inside your beliefs and emotions has to manifest on the outside. So all it's saying, anything you build up on the inside, what's inside of you it has to manifest on the outside. There is no if, there is no maybe, there is no, well, maybe 20% of the time, Chad. No, 100%, 100%. What's inside you has to manifest into your 3D world. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. So this is basically, you sow what you reap what you sow. This is also the law of cause and effect. Luke chapter 6 verse 45. Out of abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I love this one. Listen. Your inner world eventually expresses itself through words and actions, and those shape our world. I love this. Let me read it to you one more time. Listen very closely, because we all do this. Listen. Your inner world eventually expresses itself through words and actions, and those shape your world. And when I read through this and put this together, that really stuck out to me, because when I say your inner world eventually expresses itself, okay, we've all done this. You ever been so frustrated? Maybe you have anxiety, maybe somebody pissed you off, and you internalize it. You're kind of murmuring, complaining to yourself. Okay. And eventually, when you hold that state, eventually it manifests into the outside world. Okay. Eventually you explode. You tell somebody else, you go to that person and pick a fight and explode to them or whatever. But eventually what you're bottling up inside, no matter good or bad, has to come out. Okay. But we do it in many different ways and many different forms. So in esoteric Christianity, this law is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. Your consciousness equals the unseen directly corresponds to your experience, which is the seen, which is your 3D world. I have to take a Tai Chi break here. But how does this relate to manifesting? The law of correspondence. You see, the law of correspondence is basically the mechanism behind the law of assumption. Now, with the law of assumption, we all know Neville Goddard kind of coined the phrase of law of assumption. But what does it really mean? Like, how did the law of correspondence, that's the mechanism behind the law of assumption. You see, Neville Goddard taught that the outer world always corresponds to your inner state of consciousness. So, for example, if your life feels chaotic, you don't fix the outer, you adjust the inner pattern it's reflecting. When you change your inner beliefs, feelings, and assumptions, the outer picture must shift to match. And this is really where a lot of us get flubbed up with manifesting. Let me read it one more time to you. And I hate to do this to you, but you really need to get this. Understand this. When you change your inner beliefs, feelings, and assumptions, the outer picture must shift to match it. And I'll read what Neville Goddard said too, is, so if your life feels chaotic, you don't fix the outer, and this is what most of us do. We're trying to fix the outer circumstance, but it's always coming from within. It's coming from within us. Okay, you don't fix the outer. The outer is just a reflection what's inside us. See, understand it this way. You can't experience abundance with the mindset of lack. I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, if you're thinking lack all day, you're thinking scarcity all day, you're thinking poverty consciousness all day, you're thinking you're broke all day, you're thinking you don't make enough money all day, well, what's going to be reflected back to you is the same state, the same thing. Okay, riches isn't going to come to you when you're thinking poverty habits all day long. You're thinking poverty thoughts all day long. Riches is not going to come to you. The only thing that's going to come to you is more lack. That's what you have to understand. This is why people tell you that if you want to be a millionaire, it's about your identity, but it's about being that most successful version of you first. You're a millionaire right now, then the millions of dollars have to catch up to you. Okay, that's how this stuff works. Again, you can't attract love if you feel unworthy of it. You can't manifest freedom if your inner story is rooted in fear. Reality doesn't contradict your consciousness. It corresponds to it. You know, that's kind of more simply put. is reality doesn't contradict your consciousness. It corresponds to it. That's the law of correspondence. Just like I said before we move on here, once we tie everything together, just like I said, if you're thinking thoughts of riches and wealth, that has to come to you. That's the law of correspondence. It's corresponding with your internal beliefs and thoughts that you think all day long. Okay. But the contradiction is what most people fall into a trap. They think they can think poverty all day long, then they're trying to manifest riches. That's a contradiction. The only thing going to come to you is poverty because that's what you're thinking about. That's the law of correspondence.
Really quick here, friends. Do you want a challenge that's going to make every dream of yours come true?
You see, my friends, the issue is when you start trying to live life on your terms, you're doing everything right. See, that's the problem. That's how you feel. You're trying your hardest, but nothing is changing. Now, in the challenge, there's no fluff, there's no hype. It's just real transformation delivered daily. We are going to the core. We are going to the root cause why things are not working for you. All you got to do is go to the description, click see more. Everything will pop up and you will see the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Click the link and it'll take you right over to that. Now, let's tie together the manifesting and the esoteric truth here very fast. And we'll kind of jump into Thomas Troward here. Thomas Troward wrote, "The principle is not bound by precedent." I didn't say president, I said president. Kind of sounds like president, but meaning what appears in your life is not caused by the past. It's caused by the correspondence of your present mental state. Listen to that. There's a lot of meat and potatoes in here. Okay, I'll read it one more time because it's so powerful. Listen, and then we'll talk about it here for a second. What appears in your life is not caused by the past. Okay, that's why all biblical texts, even the Bible says, let the dead bury the dead, baby. Okay, what's happening in your life isn't because of the past. Listen, it's caused by the correspondence of your present mental state. That's why everybody tells you, okay, present moment is the strongest moment you can be in. It's not about thinking in the past. It's not about looking too much in the future. Your power is in present moment, in present state. So what ends up happening is that your life is corresponding to your present moment, your present state, which is your present beliefs, what you're thinking about all day long. What you're thinking about all day long, your internal beliefs, that's what's showing in your reality. Just like when we talk about manifesting. Now, a lot of people that dig down the hole of Neville Goddard will kind of teach it like your world is a simulation, meaning your world is how you're thinking, your world is shaping around your thoughts and beliefs, which this is 100% true. This is how you bend reality. Is you can see it bend pretty fast. Is, you can actually wake up tomorrow morning and you act all day long as a most successful version of you, and you will see opportunities come to you. Okay, that's how you bend reality, because you're reshaping your 3D world, because that's the law of correspondence. If the law of correspondence is working in your present moment, but it's taking it from your present moment, it's taking from your internal beliefs, your thoughts, what you're murmuring, complaining about all day long, or what you're excited about all day long. It's a flip-flop. Okay, it's not just about the negative stuff we do. Okay. And it's shaping your reality as you see it in your 3D world. It's shaping it for you. Listen really fast. Your job is not to make things happen. It's to embody the state of being that corresponds to what you desire. I'll read it one more time. Listen, your job is not to make things happen. Your job is not to force things to happen. Your job isn't to figure out the how, which a lot of us are guilty of. It's to embody the state of being that corresponds to what you desire. Okay, what does that mean? It means you become the most successful version of you. If you want your dream house, you act like you already have your dream house. You carry yourself, you act like, you make decisions like the person who already has what you want. If you want your dream car, the same thing. You already have your dream car, so how would you act? How would you be carrying yourself? If you want to be rich and wealthy, You need to start carrying yourself and acting right now today like you're rich and wealthy. You need to start making decisions and talking like you're rich and wealthy. You need to start I don't mean spending money like you're rich and wealthy. Okay, I don't mean you go out and you buy your dream car right now. I don't take the wrong way. I don't mean you go out and put things on credit cards. What I mean is that when it comes time to spend money, like we pay your bills, you bless your bills. You're excited to pay your bills. Okay, money's going to come back to you and double every time you pay your bills. Okay, that's what I mean. Is when you go out to eat, when you spend money, you don't get this sweats a little bit. You don't go internal and start thinking, well, who's going to pay? Okay, who's going to pay for this? Are we going to split? You know what I mean? You just pay it because abundance is infinite. Okay, so that's what I'm meaning when it really comes down to money, because most of the time that's what we do is when it comes down to paying our bills. A lot of us have little mini heart attacks when we pay our bills. Okay, a lot of us have a mental breakdown when we have a small emergency happen in the month, like we get a flat tire, and that wrecks our whole week and our whole month. Rather than shake it off, walk around it. You know what I mean? If you want wealth, correspond with abundance. If you want peace, correspond with harmony. If you want love, correspond with wholeness. As soon as your inner world changes, your outer world must mirror it. Listen to this very closely. This is how you bend reality. This is why your life can shift very, very quickly once you really get this. As soon as your inner world changes, your outer world must mirror it. This is law. Okay, a lot of universal laws run around this, and this is exactly how the law of correspondence works. It has to mirror it 100%. But also, the law doesn't play favorites, baby. It's mirroring whatever you give it. If you give it negative, it's going to mirror negative. If you give it prosperity, well, it's going to mirror prosperity. If you give it poverty, it's going to mirror poverty. If you give it wealth and riches, it's going to mirror wealth and riches. This is exactly how it works, but it has to happen. So what's the bottom line? What's the bottom line of the law of correspondence? Your life is always talking back to your state of consciousness. You don't get what you want. You get what corresponds to who you are being. So as we wrap this up right now, I'll repeat that to you. You don't get what you want. You get what corresponds to who you are being. So right now, who are you being? Are you being the person who's living your dream life? Who's living life on their terms? Are you being that version of you? Are you being the most successful version of you right now today? Or are you always being that old version? And that old version of you is usually stuck. They're scared to do things. They got worried out in fear. And it doesn't mean that you have a bad life. It doesn't mean that your life sucks. It just means that you're stuck in a way that you can't live life on your terms. You can't live your dream life. Okay, that's all it means. It's what you want. Listen to this. What you want is on the other side of fear. What you want is on the other side of fire. You got to push through it. Okay, that's just the no BS truth here. But how you bust through that fear barrier, how you walk through the fire, is always remaining that most successful version of you. Because that most successful version of you has the life that you exactly want. They're living the life that you wish you would live. They're calling the shots. They're having anything they want. That's the version you got to live right now today. But other than that, tribe, thanks for hanging in. Hopefully this was helpful. Always leave a comment below because I love your feedback. I love to kind of see how you view this stuff and how you're living the most successful version of you. What's really going on with you? Leave a comment below, then I'll see you in the next video.